Good morning, afternoon, evening, etc. Whenever it's you, everybody, and welcome back, Vampire Survivors. I won last time. Yeah, I was thinking back to last round. I won last time. Hey, how you doing? Gaming, we're doing good. I was asking how you're doing. I'm doing good. Listen, I just woke up from a nap. If I sound a little off, which is nothing new, and if I sound a little tired, which is still nothing new, it's because I kind of am. I just woke up. I decided to do a nap into recording order, which I don't recommend. But here we are, final character for the the game as is, and then we still have some other chivos and the other modes to explore, and maybe just maxing out our skills. We're Tasio, nothing to it but to do it. I know this guy is actually nutty. Let's do it. We're gonna do a hyper inlaid library. That's how confident I am about this guy's abilities, and maybe like a 1-2 run. We'll see. We'll see what I'm feeling. Look at that. The Bone Lord. The bones, they bounce off each other, kind of like, yeah, I was gonna say, kind of like a rune tracer, but just truly better, really. So we're gonna be going places with this one. He seems a little frail. I didn't check if he has like lower HP stats or anything. Hey, Thursday, we've made it. We've made it towards more or less the end of the week, as far as I'm concerned, right? Once I hit Thursday, like the Friday comes in stride, whether it's a full day or a half day, I'm pretty much in it. Next week's all plotted out. And by the way, we got Monday off, or, Americans have Monday off, I should say. I totally forgot why, and I think it's President's Day if I remember now. Listen, I respect President's Day, I'll say that. But I respect just having the day off in general a little bit more. I'll just be honest. Maybe there's a handful of, like, historical presidents. I'm like, yeah, you know what, here's to you, President, but, like, not in recent memory. That's not a political statement. That's more like political apathy, but also maybe it is a statement because I feel like the last batch of them weren't great. And I say this, I'm like, is there anyone in particular? Yeah, like, Reagan and someone else. But anyway, that's my extent. There's the political rant, but not a political rant. We finally got one in. Let's talk about something fun and exciting. I'd say let's like look at the news, but that's also not fun and exciting. Is disconcerting a word? Disconcerting is a word. Is that the right word to use here? I don't think it is. I'll Google it later if I remember. I would also like to make another correction to my statements about a video game on multiple videos this week. For some reason, I thought Horizon Zero Dawn was out already, which is my bad, because I keep getting confused with someone reviewing it because they're like a streamer / gamer that got it early versus, whatever else the case may be. Because the amount of Horizon Forbidden West news I've seen on like my Twitter, for instance, there's been a lot, and it's been like mostly good in like some critical aspect I mentioned before. The game's not even technically out yet. I found that out very recently, that it's not even out. So okay, it officially comes out tomorrow. So now I can say, hey, hopefully everyone enjoys it and not make a statement that there's a general consensus already when the general populace hasn't had access to it. I got confused. I really thought it was out, but just how much people were talking and showing things off, it made it seem like it was. Right? That's not bad. And dude, when it's my bad, it's my bad, alright? Alright. What do we want for this run? We want some duplicators. We want some candelabradors. Rune Tracer doesn't upgrade, so we have a freebie there. I want whatever the Bible upgrades. I think it was Spellbinder. I don't remember. You already know. I say you believe. You already know. I'm not gonna remember. You'll have to do it for me. You'll have to do it for me. Alright. We chillin'. Being chillin'. So part of the reason why I did a bit of an out of order pattern here today is there was stuff I wanted to watch that was pretty much running as soon as I got off work. Technically it was running 2 hours when I was still into work. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I do want to enjoy this stream. It's a D&D stream. I'm catching it at the very beginning so I can have a little bit more gauged interest in the long run. I don't really like jumping into those too far into it unless it's truly exceptional, which this guy's pretty good at what he does. His name's Brett Ultimus. I for the most part like what he does. And that's not supposed to sound mean or anything. And this is a bit of a D&D bender here, by the way. By the way, Bender, haha, we talked about that. No, I like my D&D streams. He's a pretty good guy. I like what he does. We'll see what comes of this campaign shutting. You shut up. Is it Spellbinder? Where is it? Where are you? Tab out. Vampire. Not cross evolution. It doesn't matter. We'll just go to Steama. It is Spellbinder. Pattern association. That's like some of my college days coming in to save me there. Dude, it's a simple pattern recognition. I did not study. I just saw something that was lightly associated somewhere in my cerebral cortex. My brain pulled up the imagery and was like, yeah, this is it. This right here is it. I probably should have hydrated before I started recording. My voice is extra hoarse right now, extra raspberry. Extra roughy McScuffy, if you know what I'm saying. We got 2 bottles with us here. We're good to go. Clover? I was gonna say, I guess you can get technically a clover, but I don't really want it. This run's gonna be insane regardless, so let's just vibe. Alright. Oh yeah, anyway, Horizon. I hope it's good, but the reviews already say it's good, so like 2 thumbs over. We've made it. We have made it. I've messed up. I've got ebony wings, but I don't have pichone. No. Frig, dude. That alone makes me want to reset. No, I wouldn't do that. But it also means we're stuck with ebony wings, which I don't think is fantastic. But everything else we have is going to be pretty... Like, we have the Bone Zone, dude. We're going to be fine. I'm not going to get the Rainbow Bird. Sag, right? Are we still saying Sag? Is that truly just a Soju thing? It's Sag, dude, yeah. Alright. Any weekend plans? No, I never really have any. Actually, one of my friends reached out to me. He wanted to petition me to, like... Or not petition, or... What's the word? He wanted me to make, like, some sort of meme edit, like a short meme edit with some audio mixing and some template he had. And I'm honestly flattered that he thinks I have the talent to do so. But I did give him the honest answer of, like, I really haven't done extensive editing in a while, so I don't know how much good I'll be to him. And he took that in stride. He's like, that's fine. I appreciate the honesty. Maybe I'll just, like, make a TikTok then. I'm like, you motherfucker, you're trying to use me to make a TikTok thing. No, I didn't say that. It's all in jest. But he did offer, he said he would potentially pay me for it, so I mean... Hey, maybe it was some sort of TikTok thing. If it worked out, then hey, is a career for me yet, right? We've had the topic before. I think TikTok's the most, realistic way if you want to get into online media in some form. TikTok checks all the boxes, because it's still relatively new, so the window and, like, potential opening is much better than it is on, like, Twitch or YouTube or wherever else, you know, beyond there. Bone, please. But it's also, like, 10 to 20 second pieces of media. That is perfect for this day and age. That's the attention span of me, first off. But also many viewers, and I don't know the age demographic, but just a lot of people in general, they like their TikToks, right? They like their dances. And some people still like long form stuff, right? The handful of us that are hanging around here, we like a little long form ramble. And I still like my long form content in general. I feel like the sweet spot for like a good, like for the most part, right? There's an asterisk on it because there's exceptions. I mentioned that Barney video I watched recently. That was 2 hours of my time that I don't regret. I had fun. But I truly think the sweet spot for anything sort of made and not literally, hey, I'm pressing play on a video and I'm just gonna run my mouth for 40-ish minutes. That's me. The sweet spot's like 15 to 20 minutes, I feel. I feel that is the exact spot you want to be when it comes to some sort of creatively made piece. Maybe 30 if it is exceptionally made, and then of course if it's, again, like the Barney video I watched, it's just such a high quality, yes, I'll sit through an hour of it, then yeah, you go for an hour. But she kind of broke it up in a way that made it digestible, where there were the new YouTube like breakpoints in between segments of the story, which definitely helped me digest it a little bit. Let me mentally reset for the next portion if I really wanted to. Good. It's also probably one of the best features YouTube has added to their videos, is the ability to sort of break it down for pieces. Maybe I should use it, right? I can break it down with conversation points. I thought I heard my phone alarm going off. My phone's right next to me. What is that noise? If there even is a noise. Oh, am I okay? I'm okay. Oh, Candelabrador. Poggers, dude. Pog-us. Alright. Oh, tomorrow's Neon Divide. We're looking forward to that. I'll watch that. You know what? Maybe truly this time I will do a stream this weekend, because I still need to Spear? I still need to finish near replicant. Yeah. Ugh. It's almost been... It's 10 months now since I got that game, and I have not beaten it, despite how much I praise the Nier series. It makes me a bit of a hypocrite, doesn't it? Maybe. I'll still die for it. No, I won't die for it. Nothing's worth dying for. Well, no video game's worth dying for, I should say, no matter how much I love it. Although, like, Yoko Taro were to call me up, like, tomorrow and be like, Tim... hey, it's me, Yoko Taro. I'm speaking English now. Hi. You wanna come just like hang out and be my shitty bodyguard? I'd be like, absolutely. In a heartbeat, I would. What, is this a bit? This is kind of trying to be a bit, but it's pretty bad. It's not a recording day, I guess. The post-nap recording is not working out. I don't have like the juices flowing for potential bits. It's just me. But anyway, maybe I will do a stream this weekend. We'll see. We'll see. It's always we'll see with me. There's still a bit of anxiety to go on and like push the live button. Also, I think I need to get my new stream key because Twitch reset them because of some weird breach or whatever. Actually, did they reset that when the Twitch salaries got posted? I don't think they did, but I remember seeing a notice on my Twitch notification saying, "Hey, by the way, your stream key's been reset because of something." I feel like that was recent, so it could have been the Twitch salary leak, which, by the way, that was very amusing when it happened. I'm not going to talk about it more than that. I'll just say it was amusing in a lot of ways, but a lot of people, you know, they weren't happy about it, and I respect the individual's privacy. Some people acknowledge they probably weren't happy about it, but they said literally nothing on the topic, and then it just went away, so, like, I think they played it the best. But I definitely perused the numbers. That's why it was interesting. Alright, end scene. This would be a great topic point, but I don't want to get into that one. But I will say that the handful of streamers that I do have on, like, my following list, the ones that were stating, like, number X reporting in, they got a laugh out of me and they got a nod. I'm like, that's right. We have not a rapport here, but we have a system understanding here. At the end of the day, I'm still going to watch a handful of you. I still watch everyone that on my following list, to be honest. Every person I follow, unless like some random person goes live that I'm like, I haven't seen you stream since like 2010, they're probably hanging around. They're probably hanging on the list because I truly do enjoy nearly everyone I follow. There's only so many streams I can put on 2 monitors. Rentara Glass comes out in League of Legends. There's really not a lot to talk about, so I mean, I'm ready for that. I might play with my friends later here. I've definitely been doing some higher level ghosting on them for that. I've been doing other things. I've told one of them what it was. But again, you know, it's a mood thing. I'm not gonna risk a shitty mood playing League of Legends. The comparison to League of Legends being legit like a hard narcotic like heroin still stands. It'll stand forever. God, I really need to like go for like drives or something so I can let my brain run on the hour-long drives. Probably when I go back to in-office work for a week here. We'll come back with some very fresh and ready bits. Yeah, give me some more Ibanez wings. Okay. Not disassociating, I'm thinking. We talked about Futurama. We talked about YouTube stuff. We talked about Twitch stuff. The video game well is drying up, right? There's not a lot of big crazy things to talk about until Elden Ring comes out. And then even then beyond that. I mean, I saw a notice for McPixel 3. I'm familiar with that kinda. Like an older... It's like one of the older Steam indie games that was on there for the sake of it being on there. I don't need to revive. I'm not going to do a dumb bit. Oh yeah, that's right. I mentioned the... because I died on the last video, but came back to life when I did the Candyland question, if you remember. A lot of my friends had some fair retorts, but I don't entirely agree. Because a lot of them were comparing me stating a board game roguelike doesn't have, you know, ever-changing levels every time, which is true, but, like, let's be realistic here. We're working in the space of the medium. A board game can't really change dynamically level design-wise. There are some that can. I think, like, Monster Fight is one of them that comes to mind. But there are also roguelikes that don't really change dynamically on a floor basis. Like, I think Slay the Spire comes to mind. It's a roguelike in the sense of one element, but you're more or less going to have a pretty similar layout on every floor. And even if you get like the rare differential one, it's still like one of those known differential ones. It's not going to be, it's not Binding of Isaac, let's say, right? And Binding of Isaac also has a known element of their roguelike elements when it comes to floor layout. With an asterisk of like, you know, there's an occasional like 1 or 2%, you get something that's really like, what the fuck is this? I've never seen this room in my life. I think there are some rooms in Isaac that are on that sort of low percentage to be seen. That's like, okay, this is keeping it just a tinge new. Like, you know, a lot of roguelikes, even the ones that have a lot of dynamic level generation, like, you know, the spike room in Isaac, you know, the water barrel pushing level in Gungeon, you know. I mean, Dead Cells, for Christ's sake, I think is the exact same thing, just over and over again. I have limited knowledge on that one, right? So, take that with a grain of salt. I think without playing a certain roguelike, I think the only one that truly is like, whoa, it's kind of crazy, levels of different every time. And again, I haven't played it, but I've seen some streams of it, is Noida. That looks like it has some sort of dynamic level generation like no other, you know? Yeah, I feel like my friends targeting that element of the roguelike board game critique was a little unfair, but it's just. But then my buddy Gabe gave me a retort that I think instantly crushes my opinion that Candyland was the definitive roguelike board game. Because I don't know when these games came out in comparison, but he mentioned Clue. And Clue is literally just, it is a roguelike. I didn't think about it at the time because it was a little bit of a rush bit and there was a bit of emotion on me thinking I lost my run. But yeah, Clue is kind of like, it is a roguelike. It's different every single time. Did I say Candyland, by the way? Not Candyland. What game was I talking about? Game of Life. I'm saying Candyland? Jesus Christ. There's a stark difference between Game of Life, which is kind of a waste of time, to be real, and Candyland, which is a waste of your time. Let's be real. Alright. Yeah, so, you know, I deferred there. Clue is probably more roguelike than anything else I had mentioned there. And then, like they're getting kind of smart-assy with me. They mentioned chess. I'm like, okay, listen, guys. Like, be realistic with me. You're saying chess right now? Come on. I'm just looking at my items. So that's upgrading. That's upgrading. Or not upgrade. So upgrading. We need the duplicator, and then everything else can upgrade. So I will grab a spinach, because that is a damage up, which will help. But we need a duplicator and then one utility of our choice. I am not grabbing that mask yet. I will come back for it. We need a duplicator, otherwise the lightning ring is actually still fine, really. Yeah, it's got an upgrade now. It's only exceptional when it is upgraded. Beyond that, now, in comparison to what it could be, it's just fine. It's just like, alright, fine, thanks. There. So, Game of Life. It's a roguelike. I would say it's a roguelike board game. Thanks for the candelabra door, by the way. But it's not the definitive one. I think I give that to Clue. Chess is not a roguelike. Chess is just a strategy game that has many means of playing out. That, again, this is a smart-ass answer. I'm gonna smack Josh upside the head for that one, goddammit. The audacity asked me to make him a meme video, and then he responds to my meme question with chess. How dare he? How dare he? But you got a job in my brain, like what else? What other like the generic board games come to mind like that? And I say the generic ones because board gaming culture, which is actually a fun topic actually, is, well, one, it's insane in my opinion. Like, people are crazy. I made brief reference to the game Kingdom Death Monster on the sort of board game discussion or topic I had earlier this week. I said it already, that game's $500. So it's like, it's made for a certain type of individual. Also, to be fair, it does have a miniature aspect to it, which I just roll my eyes at because I'm like, I don't care. I would gladly buy this game 15 times over, or maybe at least like once in the expansions if I'm just being honest with myself. If the price wasn't so ridiculous, because I think it's ridiculous because of the minis, I'll take some freaking picture cutouts and call it a day. I don't give two dams, dude. Two dams? Just didn't want to say the F word. I was gonna say put doodles, but like that's stealing from someone, I think. More axes, please. But like, you know, most board games that if you're seeking out something new and novel, Catan doesn't count. Catan was new and novel when people were still thinking like games like, Uno and the Monopoly were like hot shit, right? Which, if you think Monopoly's hot shit, I am sorry. I don't hate Monopoly. In fact, I'd be more than willing to play like a somewhat sped up version of Monopoly, but it's not a good game. You know, Catan was like the game. It's like, yo, it's freaking Catan. This is the kind of board game we need. You want. It's so different. Catan's now the baby shit, and it's things like Azul or that Roguelite firefighter game. Which you know what? I need to throw that into the argument. I'll write that one down and bring that up later. Like that, or like Gloomhaven even, which is Gloomhaven's pretty cool, right? In a similar vein to Kingdom Death, but it's also a bit pricey. I'm not a crazy board game aficionado. That's my buddy Gabe. He definitely falls into that list a lot better than I do. Like he's got his collection of unique board games, set like 7 Wonders, which I think is starting to fall into that somewhat dated category, kind of because it's known. Yeah, like the deep, like the iceberg of board game culture. It's kind of like anime in that sense, where like if you're in it, you're in it, but if you're not in it, you're like, oh, Code Geass, oh, Bleach, Naruto, Pokemon. It's like, okay, yeah. And again, there's no shame in liking any of those, right? But if you go up to someone who's like a true board gamer, and you say, oh yeah, I like this known Hasbro game or this known like secondary level game, they're kind of gonna look at you and be like, all right, that's cool, but let me, you know, if they're normal human beings, they're not freaking psychopaths for their hobby, they're gonna be like, that's cool, let me introduce you to something like this, because, you know, that's where they really get to flex. They're like, hey, you think that's a good board game? Well, check this bad boy out, sort of moment. Which I'm for. I'm for, because there's a lot of cool board games I went with my buddy. I like Dead of Winter. Yeah, well, also kind of a roguelike board game, if I'm being real. I'm gonna write that one down as well. Hey, look, it's the Loop Ring. But Dead of Winter, that's a game that I played with in the last 8 years. I don't want to say 10, because then I'm gonna start having heart palpitations about when I was in college and I played some board games with my friends. But Dead of Winter was a pretty good treat of a game. Despite the fact that the only time we ever beat that is because we cheated, and it also took like 8 hours to play through, and I was leaving my friend's house at 3 fucking a.m. and I still had to drive one of my other friends home because we were just playing Dead of fucking Winter for so goddamn long. But that's a pretty higher level board game, I would say, if we're having that same comparison as there was. That's a good one. That's a good one. Should ask my buddy what recent board games he's played that are pretty up his alley. I don't think he's bought any board games as of recently. I don't know, maybe this is a reason to talk to my friends. That's crazy. That's a novel concept. Wow. Alright. There's my board game rant, I suppose. I'm not the board game person. I'm the tabletop RPG person, like 100%. And yeah, you know, when there's like a rabbit hole or iceberg when it comes to tabletop as well, because you can be like, I like 5th edition, like the true hardcore D&D players and or tabletop RPGers are already pushing up their glasses and, you know, whipping out their fucking mug filled with Mountain Dew, probably. Like they're tavern mug. Those are the hardcore guys. Like, goddamn, I'm not arm wrestling with that individual. Let me tell you. But there's an iceberg or a rabbit hole, whichever your phrasing you want to use, when it comes to tabletop RPGs. I like 5th edition because it's probably the most palatable and easiest you can get people into, and then you can modify it to an extent that, you know, if it's a little too basic for you, then you can modify it. And by the way, if you think D&D is just fine the way it is and you don't like homebrewing, you like just keeping it simple, dude, I give you the nod there. Same at times, that's fine. That's fine. There are a lot of people when you mention, again, I'm doing the finger air quotes, you can't see it, but I'm doing it, that you bring up 5e as your favorite, and then you have like the veterans, is like, I like AD&D. It's like, is that a band that ripped off, you know, AC/DC? No, it's Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. It's the one where fucking elf is a race, for Christ's sake, and, you know, you gotta use things like THAC0, which, and honestly, THAC0's not that bad, I'll be real. Who cares to do extra math in a game that's kind of about doing some math for combat and then role-playing a character in a situation, right? And some are like, Pathfinder, superior system, and I play Pathfinder. I mean, it takes a fair bit of work, and I definitely messed up a lot when it came to playing my character right, and like maybe even creation. They say it gives you a lot more flexibility, but like I feel like that's what homebrew can do if I'm being real. But Hey, Pathfinder's fine. And then there's Pathfinder 2. You could play Pathfinder 2. Pathfinder versus the D&D topic is probably one of the more... maybe I'm at the top of the iceberg here, but I think one of the more debated conversations in tabletop, right? Like that's at the tip of the iceberg where it's like, this is what people presume to be the hot topic on it. And I don't know if that's correct or not, and I'm not that deep in the iceberg. But like, then you can go up or down depending on the graph you want to look at, and you know, some people are just like, yo, you should check out Dark Heresy though, and it's like, okay. And no one's shoving Dark Heresy down your throat like they are for Pathfinder D&D. But I'm familiar with Dark Heresy. It's kind of cool. It's a fun little, I think it's like a space-based Eldritch horror type system, which those are two things I'm definitely for in my kind of settings. That's cool, you know? Or Stars Without Numbers. Very cool. Very cool. I think it's... I'm trying to remember which one is the one I like and which is the one I should hate because of a certain individual. I can't put my tongue on it. But there's one like sort of like Shadowrunner-esque, and I know Shadowrun's its own game as well, like, come on. It's like, it's a Shadowrun sort of sci-fi Cowboy Bebop-esque game. I remember watching again, I'm gonna bring his name up, it's Stephen Lumpkin, Silent Osiris. He did a show for this kind of game, I forget what it was called. But it was cool. But there's a, you know, technically there's a rabbit hole to any type of community you may want to get involved with. By the way, I need to go back and get the mask. For tabletop refugees. That's where my scene is. I mean, I'm the dungeon master, for Christ's sake. I take the time to sit there and learn all the ins and outs of this, like the ins and outs of the systems that matter, right? I can tell you right now, no dungeon master, probably worth their weight in salt, cares about doing the chase rules in D&D 5th edition, as far as I know, right? Like, they exist. There are rules for a chase. They're bad. Like, they're not fun. If I find myself in a chase scenario, I'm just gonna wing it in my own way, because I don't think you need a system for that kind of thing. But there is one in the DMG if you truly care. It's just bad. Maybe if I ever do, like, D&D topics, that'll be a fun rant or tangent I can go on. But chase is stupid. Chase is stupid. Travel's kind of stupid as well. There are elements of the travel system in D&D that I'm kind of okay with, but, like, make travel more a little bit of a fun thing. And a lot of, like, the rules, air quote, about D&D are pretty stretched anyway, since a lot of people don't follow them raw, rules as written. That's the acronym there. If you're in, you know. That's all I'm gonna say, alright? Get off the tip of the iceberg, you dig? You dig? You dig. But, you know, it's like, yeah, no one really uses the chase rules. No one really cares too hard about the travel rules unless, you know, the journey to the destination is part of the story you're looking to tell. I'm trying to think of some other, like, obscure rules no one really gives a goddamn about. Yeah, like, variant weight encumbrance or whatever. I know some dungeon masters like using that. It's like, you know, you can't hold 10 torches. In my rule of thumb is like, hey, as long as you're not carrying an amount that seems ridiculous, you're good. If someone wants to carry 10 fucking torches, just let them. Who cares? You know, the realistic argument in D&D, whenever that gets brought up, I don't really care that much. Like, for Christ's sake, the way the game technically explains when you get hit or when you get, you know, you get hit or you don't get hit, it's like, the adventurer takes a slash across the chest with a greatsword, but he's still standing because he's a player character with 50 HP. Like, my dude, if any average human, I don't care if you're the known adventurer or not, gets slashed by a greatsword, you're probably fucking done. If you're not dead, you may have, like, some sort of infection, or it fucking hurts like hell. It's like, okay, you just tell me this guy walks it off? I mean, as far as D&D rules are concerned, that's technically how it is. Yeah, there's a lot of, like, stuff that you kind of just... If you play the game, D&D 5th edition, that is, you look at it and you kind of go, yeah. And maybe I'm not giving a good example, like the damage taken in a combat scenario. But that's like a topic also for maybe its own conversation. But you could easily just say, oh, they miss you, right? They miss. It's called a miss for a reason. Your character dodged. The end. Like, truly the only place where rules are really hard placed in is kind of in combat, I feel. Beyond that, when it comes to, you know, combat or maybe some skill checks, which you can also flavorify your own way, people kind of put their own spin on it. Like, and to be honest, unless you're a DM and you're playing in another DM's game, one, you don't open your mouth being like, actually, pushing up my glasses here, both in real life and for the bit. Like you don't do that, right? You can talk to them after the fact, but a lot of people substitute their own rules and add their own spin on it, and I think that's the norm. That's pretty acceptable. Also, who cares to read all those rules, except for me, just because I'm curious to see what nonsense is in there. And there's some nonsense, dude. Like, the DMV is kind of wasted potential, in my opinion, for the redemption. I digress. I've already talked about Tabletop for probably 20 minutes at this point. So, by the way, this run is looking pretty crisp. You see how many bones I got flying on the screen? This is what I was talking about, by the way. Look how good this run is. By the end, our top DPS items are legit going to be... Well, Lightning Rings upgrade is going to be up there now. And maybe Death Spiral, to be fair. But the Bones and Rune Tracer are probably going to be still on the higher end of things. They're just that good. Like, they're really good. Let's try and go for a gold record here, yeah? To be honest, if we wanted a gold record, I should have grabbed more clovers. I'm getting self-conscious. I'm having like an air burp, and I don't think it's me picking up on the mic, but I have to like go back and check at least twice in this video now because it's happened. But I try and keep it as like a low hush as best I can. Which you know, despite me having that paranoia yesterday, it was indeed not the case. I did not belch in anyone's ears. I'm happy. I like to be cordial and respectful. You dig? Why am I saying you dig? Is that today's roundabout or whatever weird phrasing I want to use is you dig? Yeah. Not one thing with me, it's another. Finally! Yes, let's go! I don't care if I'm getting 75 gold from this. It's still fun, alright? It's fun. I like the music. I like the money flying off the screen in my face. If only it was real money, yes. But it's still good, right? I'd be more excited if this thing actually, the game popped up and said Buffalo on my screen, and then like dollars started flying out of my, I was gonna say my CD drive, but I don't have one of those. Modern computers are kind of weird. There's no CD, it's all USB ports and like, you know, the weird circular plug if you still use a headset or microphone like that. Like, come on, dude, it's not 2000. It's not the early 2000s. Weird. Disk drives are kind of weird in computers. There's some people that still want them, though. It's a similar vein of like being a physical collector of video games at that point. But also people still maybe listen to music on their computer that way. No shame in that. With the recent sort of like Nintendo shutting down their eShop sort of deal, having a physical copy of something may be a good thing. Because you never freaking know now. I saw a Twitter thread on the topic for it, and the individual wasn't outright defending Nintendo, but he was explaining like the expenses behind it, which I can acknowledge. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, damn, you Nintendo though. Come on, come on. The biggest reason for it is a lack of true future planning in that regard. Systems being made for, I think it's the Wii U and the 3DS, were made purely for those two systems, and it's not something that, again, I'm paraphrasing that whole conversation, it's something that's easily portable. It's not a flip of a switch kind of deal, which I kind of already knew, but this guy broke it down in a very digestible Twitter format, which I find it ironic for that, because Twitter was designed to be the fucking bite-sized, hey, here's my thoughts in 200 words or less, and it's like, alright, well, we got the Twitter thread, which is just 10 200-word posts for a tweet, or the twit longer on Twitter. It's like, we really, like, Twitter started as one thing, but people definitely want to use it for something more, and thank God we have these programs to let us do exactly that. I just find it kind of amusing and ironic in that regard. Oh my, slow down, what the hell? Beamio game, what the heck was that? What is this chug? Ugh. Is my computer dying? Hang on. I'm pulling up Task Manager. I'm just gonna put this on the... okay, that's just the system interrupt. I'm putting this on the side. What is chugging me? Give me another, like, chug here. Give me a big chuggus. No? It was only happening when I was freezing the screen? This game is using up a good 37% of my CPU. I think that's kind of normal for any game I put up is like being used, it's gonna pull a fair bit. That's kind of what they do. It's kind of a bit of a small indie game we got on our hands here, and it's taking up a decent chunk. But that's not enough to get me chugging, so I want to find another Freezy watch and see what goes on. Okay, it jumps up to 50%. Cool, cool. All right, you guys enjoying the system task manager conversation? This is a fun one. What were they talking about before this? It was tabletop, right? Ah, don't touch me, Dusa, even though I ran into you. Very Dane Cook of me there. It's like, oh, why would you stop at a red light and hit you doing 80? Why? Aha. You guys remember Dane Cook? Apparently he stole his jokes. That's the last I heard of him. Before knowing that, like in 2006 when I heard Dane Cook, I thought it was kind of funny. I was very amused. Allegedly, I don't know the context behind it. Or maybe not allegedly, but maybe factually it's true he stole his jokes. I don't know. I didn't keep up with it. It was just in like the sphere of whatever my sister was watching or listening to in her MTV-averse and her... God, what else was my sister really into? MTV was a big thing my sister was into. Back when they actually played music videos. I hear they don't do that anymore. Or maybe it's not even a thing anymore. I look at like how my sister and I sort of split on our interests as we got older, because at a younger age we definitely had some similar interests. Like I vividly remember her wanting to play Diddy Kong Racing with me a bunch when I was younger, or play Cell Damage with me. Oh, here we go. At a certain point things definitely like changed, and she definitely became more into the MTV and the real world. There's a chug. There's some chug. I don't know what's... No, my computer's fine. The game's just doing that for itself. Maybe it's doing that so I don't have to have any system. Like, it's deliberately slowing it down. You know, I'll, DK64. Oh, got another one? Ooh. In slow motion. Yeah, my sister and I definitely had a big split at a point in our life when it came to our interests. She was heavily into MTV. MTV, your real worlds, your reality shows. I'd be lying if I said I didn't watch speech stutter for some reason, because my brain just dropped any chance of trying to form a sentence. But I didn't watch myself some... You can laugh at me for this. I had a good time watching it, because, like, goddamn, some people are crazy on these shows. But I watched a fair bit of Flavor of Love, and Flavor of Love 2 when I was younger. I was into it. I thought it was funny. In hindsight, that's garbage TV, but, you know, I can acknowledge that as an adult. Air quote adult, you know. I can imagine, like, this little nerdy 12-year-old me being like, I can't wait to watch Flavor of Love. It's like, God, really? Is this YouTube? It was. That show was fucking hilarious. And unironically, I think I was interested in the outcome. I didn't know who Flavor Flav was, by the way. I didn't know it was some 60-year-old dude trying to find love with some 20-something-year-old lady. And again, that's where, like, looking back on it as an adult, I'm like, interesting. I was invested in this for some reason, right? And then it got its spin-offs for shows like I Love New York and all that stuff. And it just got crazy. I'm like, dang, this show is really it's just a drama fest. I don't know why. Like, beyond that, like, once Flavor of Love and Flavor of Love 2 was done, I'm like, alright, I'm not really too interested. The magic wore off, whatever the fucking magic was. God damn, that's like not a repressed memory, that's just like one of the ancient texts in my brain. It's like, you were really into that, weren't you? I'm like, yeah, I was. That's kind of weird, isn't it? You would think the guy that's like heavily into watching people play video games, playing video games himself, not that heavy into MTV music culture, would be into Flavor of Love, of all things. Weird. But hey, I acknowledge it. That's like a fun, that's like the trivia question that your friends get on, like, you know, the, hey, how well do you know your friend kind of thing you're doing, right? It's like, which one of these is the truth? Oh, I should absolutely use that on Fibbage next time me and my friends are playing Fibbage. Hell yeah, it's like, this was a TV show I was interested in as a kid, and here's a show that I wasn't interested in as a kid. Or like, well, not for the final fib. The question in general is like, you know, a show that I was into, and yeah, Flavor of Love would be on there. You know what? You played Fibbage, you know what I'm talking about. Fibbage XL, for the record. Jackbox is a conversation for its own piece. But we'll save that for next time, because we are out of here. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, etc. I got my Chivo. And we'll see you all whenever for the next one. I say that, but let's look at my achievements real quick. Yeah, we just need Green Acres. We've hit the end of the game, baby. All right. Next time, Green Acres, be there. Take it easy, everybody.